This is a Biro Meat grinder. I'm going to show you how I made a three-phase latching circuit. So here's my three-phase contactor. To power the coils, it's 208 volt. So I have my three phases coming in, and then out of the contactor, the three phases will run to this three-phase motor. These yellow wires, just disconnected. Ground's getting down to the chassis. So first phase, I have a constant power running to the first lead of the contactor right here. To power the other lead of the contactor, coming from this red phase here, I have it running through a normally closed momentary stop button. Out of the other end of that normally closed stop button goes to this lead of a safety switch. It's a magnetic switch. Out of the safety switch comes into the start button, which is normally open momentary. When the momentary button is pressed, the safety's satisfied, the power will run through the switch, loop right here, come right in and power the other end of the coil, and that will close the contactor. Now for the contactor to stay closed, since these are momentary buttons and you want it to latch, you still have this constant power coming into one lead of the coil. To power the other lead, I have a jump right here through this auxiliary normally open on this coil. And there's other ways you can do it, but this is just a clean way to do it. And then on the other end of the normally open auxiliary, I have it running down right before the normally open start push button. So if the safety's satisfied, there is going to be constant power at this lead to power this coil. But the coil will only be powered remain powered if this normally open auxiliary is closed, and that takes the coil to be powered. So in order to kill the circuit, you just press the stop button, which will stop feeding power to the coil, and then it will stop feeding itself. So I have the motor disconnected now, so you can just hear the latching itself. And I have a magnet right here, and this magnet is just to trick the safety switch here. So here's the setup. I got power coming in. I'll hit this momentary start button, and you'll hear it latch. To break the circuit, red button. So these are both momentary buttons, but now we have an emergency cutoff basically, because it's a latching circuit. Safety switch, I just have a magnet coming up to it, and that magnet just trips it and keeps it closed for me, just for testing. So I'll show you. If you watch this coil, you can watch it connect when I latch it. Now I'll break the circuit with the stop button. And that's a basic latching circuit. So here's a latching circuit just drawn up for you. This is super simple. So you have your normally closed, these are both momentary buttons. This is your stop. So that's at the beginning of the circuit basically. And then you have your start button. So when you push the start button, power will go to the relay coil. The other end of the relay coil is just a constant hot in this case. And then once power is going to the relay coil, it will connect these relay contacts down here. These are contacts normally open. So when power goes to this, it will connect these, and then it basically bypasses the normally open start button, goes through the normally open, these are now closed, goes through these contacts and continues to power the coil. The only way to break the circuit is with a stop button that's normally closed. You hit that and it will open it and then close it. Now there's no power going through. I also showed you the safety. The safety is wired in series in here, so there's two forms of cutoffs, and that's just a basic latching circuit.